What up, boys, and welcome back to yet another video. So in today's video, we have another episode of Loot from 100 Runs, the series where I do a dungeon or an open world farm 100 times, or 10 hours if it's an open world farm, and then I save all the loot of interest for these videos, so you guys can see how much gold I made, and also calculate like an average gold per hour. And in today's dungeon, we have a classic. I've done this dungeon so many times, and it is RFD. And we're going to talk a little bit about why RFD is decent and also show all of the loot. But first, I want to show the route. And big thank you to every single one of you guys that have picked up a copy of the 0 to 10 million gold guide. Really do appreciate it, and I'm glad that you guys find it of value. I really do. And if you guys don't have it, make sure to use the discount code DRAGONFLY and you'll get it for 50% off. So I'm going to talk a bit about RFD while I run the dungeon, because the route in RFD is very straightforward. Like, you can't do anything wrong. You really can't. There's no like alternative route or anything like that. It is worth mentioning that there's a bunch of chest spawns that could happen, and you definitely want to open up chests because there's a lot of patterns and plans and so on that can be from these chests. So the first one is located in this first room of mobs, the second room of mobs, sorry, that you get to. That's like one of the locations where you can find a chest. Further on, you have to click this gong in order to summon the boss, and you have to do that in order to process further into the dungeon. And once you get into this room right here, there's a ton of potential chest spawns. And since the patch 10.05, there is also a like cooking recipe that's been brought back to the game that you can get by simply clicking this bag that's hanging on this it's not a tree, it's like a vine thorn, I guess. Henry's handbag. You click on that and you get a pattern, a cooking recipe. And they used to be really good, but they're not really that good anymore since my video on it. So right here in this little pocket right here, there can be up to 2 chest spawns, right? So you definitely want to take those chests as well, and I would recommend you to bring a toon that has a profession that allows you to open up a chest. So me, for instance, I have inscription, because you only need a BFA level 1 inscription to use the scroll of unlocking to open up locked chests. So if you can pick up inscription, BFA level 1 is all you need, and you can go in the auction house and purchase the scroll of unlocking. But you can also use like blacksmithing and so on, jewel crafting, for instance. Further on, we're going to move to another boss, and there's no potential chest spawns like right here. All of the upcoming chest spawns are inside of like these small huts next to mobs. But the bosses can also drop BOE loot, so obviously you in this dungeon you have to kill the boss to process further into the dungeon. The only boss that I'm skipping is the last boss, because there's some kind of bullshit role play, and it's just not time efficient to wait for that. These Necrolite mobs always attack him with a ranged spell because they will summon a mob. So in order to save time, you always want to interact with them. Like, you can also soothe them. You don't have to kill them, and they will instantly start summoning a Shadowcaster. And inside of this hut, you have another potential chest spawn. And if it isn't in on that hut, it's going to be in one of the next 2 huts. So either in this one, there you have it. But if it's not in that one, it's going to be in the last, this hut right here, right? And if it's not in that one, it's going to be in the next hut. Like, there's a decent amount of chests in this dungeon. Like, this last hut before you reach the last boss can also have the chest. One out of those 4 huts. So what I do is I kill this last pack right here, but I don't go around messing with this dude right here, because he doesn't die. He summons like the actual last boss, and it's not worth it. So I just jump down on these torrents and I take the exit way out of the dungeon. Boom, you're out. So why should you farm RFD? RFD doesn't have the best epic items because it's too low level of a dungeon. So they don't drop like the high tier epic items of Classic, like Skullflame Shield and Destiny and all of that. But it is within the perfect level range of really expensive patterns and plans, such as Lesser Parry, Golden Searing Blade, Rich Silk Shirt. They has a ton of them. And that makes RFD particularly good because it has a lot of chests in it, which has an increased chance of having those blue patterns and plants, plants and patterns in general. Besides from that, it has a decent amount of green items, such as Saltstone loot, for instance. Saltstone is really valuable, has a decent sell rate. I mean, in my realm is only 4k a pop for a chest, but like the market value is really decent on this. And it has a bunch of other stuff too, like Steadfast. It has Jouster, a bunch of good stuff. Steadfast as well. And on top of that, there's a ton of specific items to RFD, like blue items that can only drop inside of RFD. And that's where you're going to make the majority of your gold. So besides from all the green items, which is not really that interesting to show, as I said, there's a lot of Tyrant, Jouster, Mail Combat, Steadfast, Saltstone. If you have TSM, you can easily tell which items to keep based on the sell rate and also the value. I did get some world drop blues that are considered relatively bad, like the Sigler, horrible. You got the Stalvin's Reaper. All of these were obtained through chests, by the way. And then I got one that's really good, the Firemane Leggings, which is also a world drop, but they're 90,000 gold on my realm, and they have a market value of... how much will reach in market value of 183k? Like, they are very good. I got two epic items, Icemail Jerkin, which is not that good because it shares appearance with like BOP items from Sul'Thrak. But then I got Boots of Avoidance, which it is a unique item, but they don't tend to sell for a lot of gold. In terms of patterns and plans, I managed to get the Star Belt, which is really good. I got Dusky Boots, which is decent. Guardian Belt is decent. And then I got the Golden Scale Shoulders, which is also a relatively decent item. In terms of RFD-specific items that can only drop in RFD, I got myself a Death's Head Vestment. It's not a unique item, shares appearance with Gaia's Tunic. It's less than 500 gold on my realm with a region market value of 41k. Then I got Briar Treaders, pretty much the same thing. Really bad on my realm. Thoughtcast Boots, exactly the same. A Corpse Shroud, 75k region market value, only 25k a pop on my realm. Did get two of them though. Double Stormgale Fist, double Quill Shooter, and this next item surprised me a lot. And that is the Bone Slasher, which is a unique ninja-looking sword. There's a lot of ninja swords that looks kind of like this one, but there's not a single item that looks exactly like this one. And it has a reach and market value of 267,000 gold. Now, I've sold a bunch of these in the past, and I never think I've sold them for more than like 150k, and they're currently 75k on my realm. But in 100 runs, I actually managed to get 3 of these, and that has never happened before. Outside of that, there's a bunch of materials that you get mainly from the chests, right? Like, chests has a lot of like random materials in it, and it's not going to bring in a lot of gold. But since you have the Regent bag, you might as well just save it. And the sell rate on most of this stuff is insane, so you might as well just throw it up on the auction house, right? So all in all, I used the add-on Bag Appraiser, which will tell you the top items, the total value of everything in your bags, and it's sitting at 2.1 million gold, 2,186,000 gold in the bags, which is really good. That's an average of 218,000 gold an hour. And it doesn't even take an hour to do a run of RFD. It takes like 40 minutes, right? So it's way higher than that in time spent in the actual dungeon. However, though, if I change the price source to min buyout, which is literally the current prices of everything, like right now on my server, it's going to go down to 727, which is still not bad, right? That's still 72,000 gold an hour of market value. So I would definitely say that these 100 runs of RFD was a great success. But with that being said, though, that was pretty much it for this video. But if you guys got any suggestions on what I should do next, please leave them down below in the comment section. And don't forget to check out the 0 to 10 million gold guide. And if you already have the gold guide, you're definitely going to like the VIP Discord, which is pretty much like a Patreon, but everything happens on the Discord. And there's a bunch of exclusive content like spreadsheets and shuffles. There's gold tips, investments, And you also get to watch all my YouTube videos before anyone else, because I upload them to Discord before they go live on YouTube. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all back in at tomorrow's video. But until then, bye bye.